Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Wicked. So, today we're talking about the case of Booker Lewis. And this is another case with very little information. I only have like a page full of notes, and that's about it. I think I have maybe one photo of Booker, and that's it. So I'm sorry, but there is all the links that I did use for the research are down below if you would like to go and do your own research. There's also a link to a Google suggestions form in case you have anything in particular you'd like me to cover on Wicked or my other podcast, Sinister. And there's also a link to Sinister, my other podcast where I talk about children cases, minorities, and all of that. So if you're interested in any of that, definitely go check those out. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video about Booker. So, Booker is described as a compassionate and loving husband, a father of two, a brother, an uncle, and a grandfather. He was a retired health and physical education teacher for the Bay County public school system. Booker was also a World War II veteran who operated his own bail bonds establishment after his retirement from teaching until his death in 1984. He loved teaching, and he also served as a Sunday school teacher at the St. John Baptist Church, where he was also a deacon. On the evening of September 19th, 1984, Booker left his home at 7 p.m. to run a couple of errands before going to his bail bondsman office in Panama City, Florida. Once he arrived at his office, he worked for a bit until he was suddenly interrupted by an unidentified person. Sometime between 7:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. that evening, he misses a phone call. He did not return home on Wednesday night or even called home to let his loved ones know that he wasn't going to be coming home that night. No one heard from him prior to his death, basically. Booker would be discovered dead in his office around 8 a.m. on Thursday, September 20th, 1984, by his niece, Nellie Lewis. Nellie found her uncle on the floor of his office where he was shot once in the chest. He was found with his wallet, jewelry, and money still on his body where it appeared that nothing was removed from him. His office space was undisturbed, and there was no sign of struggle or any signs of forced entry. His time of death is estimated to be around 8 p.m. on September 19th based on witness reports regarding a gunshot sound around that time. Today, his case is cold and is still considered open. There were no signs of a robbery, struggle, or forced entry, along with no established motive available for police to use during the course of their investigations. And that's all I have for you, other than a Crime Stoppers phone number, which is 850-785-8477. Again, that phone number is 850-785-8477. So, I thought this one was interesting when I heard about it. I think this is the first time I have heard of a bail bondsman being murdered in his own office, especially one that is described as being so compassionate and caring and loved as Booker was. But it kind of makes you wonder, like, who would have done this? Because there was no sign of a robbery. There was no sign of a struggle or any signs of forced entry, so it kind of makes you wonder, was, like, everything just unlocked? Was someone able to get in without him having to open it up for anybody? Which kind of seems unlikely just because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like as a bail bondsman, you would just keep doors locked. You're there to work for a little bit. Maybe it's after, because it was like 7, 8 p.m. So maybe his office was closed. He was just working, trying to get some stuff done before the next day. And maybe he did accidentally leave a door unlocked, someone slipped in, or it kind of makes me feel like whoever this was knew Booker, and maybe Booker did not see them as a threat, or didn't think that this person would do anything. Because that's the only thing I can think of as nobody forcing their way in. Or maybe it could have been someone that worked at his office. They would already been in there. Maybe a staff member that was working late or something, That's always an option, but when I heard that there was no struggle or any signs of forced entry, it makes me feel like he at least had some sort of knowledge of who the person was that did this to him. And also just his wallet, his jewelry, everything still being on his person, no sign of robbery whatsoever. It kind of makes you feel like it was done for a more personal reason, not something as vain or just something not as vain as robbery. You know, it wasn't like someone like saw Booker and was like, okay, that's going to be my victim. And so they somehow managed to get their way in and robbed him. It had to be someone that knew him or he maybe even trusted that he allowed into his space and did this to him for whatever reason. Maybe he had a secret enemy that he didn't know about and he let this person in thinking that he could trust them when in reality they were there to kill him. I mean, I've never been arrested. I've never had to be bailed out of jail. I don't know if Bill Bondsman, I don't know the plural of that. I don't know if they generally have enemies of any kind. Maybe that's who it was. Maybe it was someone that he knew just from his line of work. Still didn't think that they were any sort of, problem. He let them in and maybe they did something to him because he upset them some way professionally, Someone, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that kind of line of work is something that would make you someone's target. Or maybe it was just someone in general that he knew that just thought that this would make it an easy target and take the light off them. I don't know. But I definitely do think that it was someone that he knew, and that is like the one for sure thing that I do believe. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. What do you think about this case? With that being said, that is going to be all for me today, guys. Thank you so much for listening to Booker's story, and I will see you guys very soon. I apologize about the lack of information and all of that, but it is an older case, and we generally don't have a whole lot of information. But nonetheless, thank you for listening, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.